not function. I travel the country and I make presentations. I will tell you shortly a story about myself. I have not written anything, I just speak from my heart. First of all, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, and we're here to honor this 58,479 men who gave their lives. I lost 6 relatives and 26 men in my command. My name's Chief Wanatah. I'm the chief of the Comanche Nation of Oklahoma. 60 years ago, we were drafted, 1965. In that month, I believe it was in April, 53,000 men were drafted into military service. For service in which was then French Indochina. I will skip all the training, all the formalities. We trained in Carlisle Barracks, Pennsylvania, where Jim Thorpe, you know who Jim Thorpe is or was? For languages. And most of you people don't know, but you're about to know some things that were forbidden to be told to the public. First of all, 14 Native American nations served in Vietnam. I'm one of them, the Comanche Nation of the great state of Oklahoma. Our cousins were the Chickasaw and the Choctaw, the Blackfeet and the Shawnee, the Apache and the Navajo. We were sent into Cambodia after being 10 months in country, fighting as infantry troops. I worked directly with the Navy. I have a lot of pride for the Navy, the Marines, Air Force, and the Coast Guard. All of you guys that serve with these branches of service, we could not have done it without you. But I served with the Navy. I would call the position of the enemy in my native language to another Native American on the USS Ranger aircraft carrier. He would then relay the information to the flight officer, and he would dispatch the F-4 Phantoms, the A-6 Corsairs, and the Sky Raider, known as the Sandy, a single-engine attack aircraft. And then we had to get the heck out of there. I was getting ready to come home after serving 1 year in Vietnam when we got the call from headquarters that we were being sent into Cambodia. Cambodia was a neutral country, but they were sending troops, ammunition to Vietnam. President Johnson sent us there illegally under secret orders. The Pentagon made the mistake of dropping us at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in broad daylight, coming down in parachutes where the enemy saw us. It was 38 of us coming down in parachutes. We were captured immediately. Oh, by the way, we were sent to Cambodia to disrupt the road, roll it up, and blow the elephants that were transporting heavy firepower, cannons, machine guns, rocket launchers on those big elephants. But I was a second lieutenant. I was the old man. I was 21 years old, fresh out of Oklahoma State University, where the Indian Nation sent me to school. I was rejected for West Point because of my race. I could not go to any university. I could not even vote. I could not even drink a beer at base because of my race. And so we were sent to Cambodia under the orders of President Johnson, illegally. We found that out later. But being the oldest man, the youngest man was 17, 18, 19, 20. That was the old man at 21 and a half, believe it or not.
Wow.
And so I was grateful to the Native American nations who sent me to Oklahoma State University. When I retired from the Army, they gave me the gold medal, the Medal of Valor. The Native American nations of this country. It gets better. As we were flying, I got the serial number of the tail, off the tail of the plane, the C-147, I believe. We were captured. We were in captivity for 6.5 years.
Oh my God.
All 38 of us. 17 died in captivity.
Oh my gosh.
They were beaten to death. They were told not to kill us because they wanted the code. We could not give them the code. How can you speak in our language in a few days, weeks, or years? It's like sending you American English-speaking people to Japan, China, or any other foreign country to speak their language. It'll take you years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were told not to hurt us, but they did. 17 were forced into death by beatings. They broke my knees, my shoulder, my rib cage, my ankles. They pulled my toenails, and they put bamboo sticks into my skull. And I get no medical attention. After 6.5 years, we escaped. After 2 weeks in the jungle, the Marines found us, and they said, "These are the deserters we've been looking for." So they turned us over to MACV. MACV is Military Assistance Command, Vietnam, headquarters of the entire Vietnam operation. There in Saigon, they flew us at a Tan Son Nhut Air Base under chains. Military police put us in chains, shackles, flew us to Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. They cleaned us up for interrogation. They sent us to Hawaii, Schofield Barracks. More interrogation. Then they put us on our final journey home. We landed in San Francisco at the Presidio Army Base, which is no longer there. As soon as we got off the plane, the military police came and put us in shackles and chains. And we were shot. There we were court-martialed. Those of you that don't know what a court-martial is, it's a court where you are trying for crimes against the United States. We were found guilty of desertion. All 17 of us. We were sentenced to 25 years life imprisonment at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. We went in 65, 6.5 years. This is 1973 and a half. Nixon is coming in. Nixon found out what had happened. And this, I'm going to tell you that the government hid from all of us, all of you. Johnson said, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, he said, I will not seek re-election. I will not run for president anymore. Who remembers that, or who has seen that statement? Lots of you. You know why he said that? Because Nixon was going to put him in jail for what he did to the Native nation. To set us there in an illegal war, an illegal country. Just like Kamala and Trump hate each other, Nixon and Johnson hated each other. But what saved me was I told the court marshal, this is the serial number of the tail fin of the plane that took us there. Contact the pilot, the co-pilot, the navigator, and that's exactly what Nixon did. And believe it or not, they confessed. After serving 2.5 years, Nixon exonerated us. Was given the Bronze Star, the Silver Star. And it was over 50 years later that President Bush put me in for the Congressional Medal of Honor. Because we were exonerated, Congress didn't really know if we were really deserters after hearing all the evidence or not. When you're exonerated, you can still be guilty. Or if you go to jail and then the president pardons you, you are still guilty. So Congress and the Senate denied my Congressional Medal of Honor. Till this day. Till this day, I'm still fighting Agent Orange. Believe it or not. They want to deny the fact that we were in Cambodia, that Agent Orange was not sprayed in Cambodia. However, we went through the jungle where Agent Orange was sprayed. And my case is still pending, and why do I have diabetes? And my pancreas show Agent Orange. You can only get Agent Orange in Vietnam. The case is still pending. And it gets even better. They tried to cheat me out of back pay for 6.5 years and false imprisonment at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. It took 12.5 years to get my back pay and false imprisonment and restore my rank. 1973, I came out as a major. After being in the service since 1965. For the next 2.5 years, I spent 2.5 years in medical observation and treatment at Walter Reed Army Hospital. I stayed in the service so that I could get the best medical care. Because even the VA, you don't get the best medical care. I'm sorry to say if there's any VA people here, but that is the truth. They have forgotten the warriors, especially the ones that are on this wall. I'm here to honor them. Well, anyway, I stayed in the service, and they wanted to get rid of me, I guess. Bosnia broke out. Bosnia with the Russian troops trying to get Milosevic during the Yugoslavian Civil War. After that, I went to Iraq. After that, Somalia. In Somalia, if you have seen the movie Black Hawk Down, I was one of the colonels bringing the wounded back in that Humvee. They had to ask my permission to make that movie. I survived. I was a lieutenant colonel then. Later, I went back to Iraq again for the second time. There, my unit, the All-American Paratroop Division, 2nd Battalion Rangers, Code Talkers, captured 50,000 Iraqi troops in the Saudi Arabian desert. I was promoted to colonel. My next one was Afghanistan. And I was promoted to Brigadier General. Again, I was put in for the Medal of Honor. And again, Congress denied it. Veterans Day, September 11, 2021, Congress gave me the Gold Star Medal presented to me. It's here for your view when you want to look at it. It's a beautiful medal and it's signed United States Congress. I gave my life, my heart, to this great nation. We were just kids. And here I am, an old man of 81. But this is just one of the millions of stories that are told from this war that lasted 16 years. And if we're called again, we will do it again. We protect this country, this flag, and the American way of life. My reason for being here is to honor my 6 relatives, my 26 Native Americans never made it home, and the 479,000 people that did not make it back. Where's Colleen? There you are. She led me to the wall and I said, I want to find James Patrick Riggins. And I told her who he is. I played offensive end in high school. James Riggins was my running back. And he would call me and say, Al, block that linebacker and that defensive end because I'm coming around. I said, okay, James. And we had a good, close relationship. But he didn't make it back. He was with the 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red One. He was 18 and a half years old, 3 months after he graduated from high school. 44,179 Native Americans served in this war. $16,769 Native Americans died in this war. 168,000 were wounded. 2,500 still missing. 23 to 25 veterans are committing suicide every month. I still get letters from Washington They sent me the crisis line. Why haven't I called them? How many of you are still receiving letters from Washington for the crisis line? There's one. And I made it a point to find out what happened here in Monee. Well, I found out that only one man died in this war. In this nice little town founded in 1853. And I'm grateful that you only lost one man. Because Illinois lost 29,000 men. That's a lot of men.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 2,900 men. And people ask me, why am I up here? Because when I was a kid in high school, Ford Motor Company, the foundation, gave me employment for the summer at Chicago Heights stamping plant on Route 30, where I worked there. They sent me a voucher for $50. I would drive my '50 Chevrolet all by myself. I'm an orphan. I raised myself in a cave, in a mud house. I would drive every summer and work for Ford, and then go back home, drive 1,200 miles. Ford contacted me after they heard about my story. And they said, we gotta give this man a pension. I'm so grateful for Ford. In addition to my Army pension, Ford gave me a 25-year pension.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful. That's how I got here in this area in Chicago Heights. Half of my relatives are buried at Catholic Assumption Cemetery in Glenwood, Illinois.
Wow.
But like I said, I spoke too much of myself, and I apologize.
No.
I really apologize.
No.
My family has been in Oklahoma for over 35,000 years. My great-grandfather was a United States Marshal patrolling the area, Kansas, Oklahoma, and northern Texas on horseback, appointed by President Ulysses Grant. And I believe I told one of these police officers, I still have the U.S. Marshal badge that belonged to him. And one of these days, very soon, I would like to come to the police department and show them the U.S. Marshal's badge. Because I want you to know that what I have told you here is a true story. You can find my story also on the internet under Chief Wanatah. And the worst thing the government did, in 1973, all our military records were kept in a wooden warehouse outside of St. Louis. The government set fire to them.
Oh my gosh.
Don't you think our records should be given to the Pentagon, air conditioned, protected? You know about it. And yet, we're still faithful to this country. And we follow the laws. The laws of this country. Every little community here, not only in Illinois, but throughout the 50 states, we have local ordinance laws that you must follow or the police will get you. And if you're guilty, you deserve it because you are not being a true American. We must live better than any other country. I suffered every day of my life. And I pray to the Creator every single day. for giving me 81 years of life. And I thank the families of this man here on this wall. It's like I've been at the wall in Washington, D.C. And you can feel the presence of these people, these soldiers here that died for their country. The youngest one was 14 years old. The oldest one was 67 years old, still serving this country. So all you members, ex-veterans, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, I salute you. The native country of Oklahoma salutes you. From our fathers, my grandfather have been chiefs for thousands of years. And I want to thank you for listening to me. I want to thank you for your attendance. I want to thank the city of Monee, the police department, and the gentleman here. And I met these three gentlemen here. One of them is a pastor. I saw him preach at the end of the sermon, meeting, invocation, whatever you want to call it. And I recognized him right away, and here he is. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. And my heart lives for all of you for the great state of Illinois, where I had most of my upbringing, and I gained my employment at Ford Motor Company as a kid. At 16 years old, I was working there. I did not work for the union. I was paid by the Ford Foundation. But anyway, that's another story. I want to thank all of you for listening.
Thank you.